So in today's session, week 1, we're just going to focus a little bit on the breath. First of all, it's also important too to have props, because you will no doubt need them along the way. If you don't have blocks, yoga blocks or straps, then be creative. See what you can find in the house. So 2 blocks, if you've got them, just have them handy. A strap or a towel and a blanket or cushion will be fine. Okay, so what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to take our blanket or cushion and we're going to sit up on top of that. We're going to cross our legs. Now, try and cross your opposite leg in front. Just turn the music off. Okay, so we want to cross the opposite leg in front right from the beginning of our practice, because we're here to create balance. We're here to find the balance. And this is one thing out of many things that yoga teaches us: creating and finding, maintaining the balance. But before we can do that, we need to figure out and realize where our imbalances are. So, for example, crossing our legs the opposite way. I mean, we've been crossing our legs the same way since we started crossing our legs, which has been many years. So that already is creating an imbalance. So we want to start now to be mindful of that, our imbalances, and start to cross the opposite leg in front. So yoga is also a lot about mindfulness, being mindful of our habitual patterns, habits, tendencies, and then again building on those to find the balance. So let's start with the breath. We're going to, first of all, place the right hand in the left palm, thumbs lightly touching, or backs of the hands on the thighs, index finger, thumb touching. Okay, whatever feels comfortable. And you can even, if you find that your hands are dropping down in this position, you can even just place a block under the hands or a towel, cushion, something to prop you up. So we want to make sure that the shoulders are over the hips. So for a lot of people, we're forward extended through the neck, through the shoulders, because we're on computers, we're driving, we're eating, we're reading books. So we want to really kick that habit and be mindful of when we do fall into that habitual pattern to get out of it quickly. And this will have a lot to do with developing stability and strength through the spine and bringing our bodies back into a neutral position, which will take time. Okay, so the right hand in the left palm, thumbs lightly touching, or backs of the hands on the thighs, index finger, thumb touching. So these hand positions are called mudras, okay? And it's just another tool that yoga offers us to stay present, to practice being present, rather than our minds going off all over the place and we're not really actually here. We're just going through the physical movements but not getting any depth. So let's close the eyes for a moment. Sit up nice and straight, lifting up through the crown of the head, right up to the ceiling. Shoulders over the hips, and we want to broaden the shoulders, the chest. So we don't want to jam them back. We want to think about broadening the front and the back of the body. Chin is just in a neutral position, so it's not jutting out. Just gently back. And I just want you to begin to focus on your breathing. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And you can even place your right hand on your belly, your dantian, your core energy center here. And when you breathe in through the nose, push your belly away with your hand away with your belly, creating the space. And then when you breathe out through your nose, draw the belly gently back. So when you breathe in through the nose, you're creating space, lightness, openness. And then when you breathe out through the nose, you're drawing the belly back. Breathing in, creating the space, the lightness. And breathing out, gently drawing the belly back. So let's stay with this for a few more moments. You can keep your right hand on your belly, or you can place it back in your left palm or back on the thighs. And as we sit here, just for another moment or two, be mindful of any areas of tension, especially around the eye muscles, eyebrow center. So we relax the eye muscles, we relax the eyebrow center. And then we move our awareness into our jaw muscles, relaxing through the jaw, down through the neck and shoulders. If you've got any tension or shortness of breath through the chest, any tension in your belly. And I want you to think and focus with every inhale that you bring into your body, creating that space again, creating that lightness, the openness, being receptive to your practice today. And then with every exhale that leaves your body, get a sense of relaxing, unwinding, softening, moving in. It's a nice balance. Now I want you to keep your eyes closed while I talk you through the next technique or breathing exercise that we're going to do. And it's called Ujjayi breathing, which means victorious breath in Sanskrit. So the way to learn how to do victorious breathing, Ujjayi breath, is to first of all just part the lips, open the mouth slightly, and just begin to breathe in through the mouth into the back of your throat. And then out through the mouth from the back of the throat. And keep moving or breathing in this way, and you'll hear yourself breathing. So it's like a Darveda sound. It's a rasping, very slight rasping sound in the back of your throat. So you can keep your eyes closed, just focus on the breath, listen to my words, breathing in through the mouth into the back of the throat, long, full breath. And then breathe out through the mouth again from that point. And then when you feel quite comfortable with breathing in and out of your mouth, you can close your mouth and breathe in and out of your nose again, like we did before, creating that same sound. So it's like you're opening up the back of your throat and breathing into that point. And you don't want to be forcing the breath ever, because when the breath is forced, your body's going to be tense, your mind is going to be busy, agitated. So it's really important not to force or stress the breath. When the breath is relaxed, the body will be relaxed and your mind will calm. So 5 more slow Ujjayi breaths and I will count. And yes, my count will be a lot slower, so don't worry about that. You'll get used to it. So we breathe in through the nose or through the mouth if you haven't quite got it yet. That's 1. Breathing in through the nose or mouth. Breathe into the belly. Two, feel free to place a hand on your belly. 3, 4, and 1 more. You might even notice you're starting to relax a little bit, become a little bit more present, calm. And 5, exhaling. Good. Now let's bring the palms together in front of our Anahata chakra, our heart center, just acknowledging the space, bringing yin and yang together, bringing balance into our bodies, our minds, and eventually into our lives. Namaste, everybody. Okay, so Namaste is a very 5,000, 10,000-year-old Sanskrit word that means I acknowledge the divine being within you as you acknowledge the divine being within me. So there's many different translations of that, but they all mean the same, but said in different ways. So it's a nice acknowledgement. So namaste, thank you, and welcome. So let's begin our movement, part of our practice today. So we're just going to go slow because it is just week 1. So let's just stay in this position, in a cross-legged position. If you find that you need a little bit of extra support through the back, then you can lean against the wall or a couch, depending where you are in your room or lounge house. So let's bring the palms back together, interlace the fingers, and on the next inhale, let's reach the arms up. So big breath, stretching up. And straight away, you might notice that the shoulders come up, so let's just bring them down. And if you need to bring the hands forwards to do that, then do. Also notice if your front ribs are popping out, bring them back so the spine stays straight. So we lift up. We want to be as tall as we can, lifting out of the waist, lumbar, big stretch. And then on the exhale, let's lean off to the right. Just getting a nice little stretch through the left side of the body. So make sure that top shoulder's not rolling forwards. Open it up. And then inhale, come back to center. Keep the shoulders down. And then exhale, reach over to the left, keeping that top shoulder peeled back. Inhale, coming up, so breathing in through the nose, out through the nose, exhale. Inhale, through the nose. Listen to the breath, exhale through the nose. Good, and then inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, we're going to lean off to the side again, left or right, it's up to you. And then release the bottom hand. Roll this top hand down, so roll the top shoulder down and back. So you're creating the space here, you've got that external rotation. And then keep going over to the right. Now make sure that you keep the weight through that left buttock. So you're not lifting up and rolling over, you're keeping your foundation secure and stable. Now from here, we're going to inhale. We're going to reach out through the fingertips as far as we can. So we're moving nice and slowly here. And then on the inhale, roll that top shoulder back and down again and reach over. Good. And let's do it again. Exhale, rounding through the shoulder a little bit back, reaching out through the fingers. Inhale, roll the top shoulder down and reach over. Let's do 2 more. Now I want you to move slowly. I want you to really tune in to how that left shoulder is moving, how it feels, how much mobility you have through that joint, or perhaps lack of mobility. Let's do 1 more. Exhale. Inhale. Good. And let's inhale, come up, and we do the other side. So we roll the top shoulder down and back, create the space, and let's reach over on the inhale. So remember the inhale, we're always creating the space. On the exhale, let's reach out through the fingers. So a little bit of rounding through the back, stretching out through the shoulder blades. Roll this top shoulder down and back again. Inhale, reaching over. Nice full breath. And again. Watch your tendencies here to speed up. So keep your movements slow and mindful. Inhale, reaching over. 2 more. Exhale. And the first thing you'll notice too is the difference between this side and the other side. Is there a difference? Inhale. And 1 more. Exhale, reach out. Roll the shoulder down. Inhale, reaching over. Good. And let's come back to center. Okay, let's come onto the hands and knees. So we can move our blanket or cushion away. And you might have a little bit of music, your own music in the background, which is always quite nice. Okay, so we're going to have the hands shoulder width apart, knees hip width apart, and we're just going to loosen up the spine a little bit. So a nice way to warm the spine up, shoulders and pelvis. So first of all, let's drop the belly, cat and cow pose, and we lift out of the shoulders, looking gently up. Exhale, suck the belly button back and round through the spine, chin to the chest, stretching out as much as you can. Dropping the belly down, roll the shoulders back. Inhale, looking forwards or up slightly. Start from your belly button, rounding, pulling your belly in, pushing into the back, chin to the chest. Inhale, opening the body up. Exhaling through the nose, starting from your belly button, rounding, 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 pushing into the hands. And one more, inhale. Exhale through the nose, pull the belly button back, rounding. Good. And now let's place the buttocks on the heels. Now you can either keep the hands stretched forwards here, forehead on the floor, or you can place one hand on top of the other, forehead on the hands. Now this pose is called Balasana, child's pose. And this is a pose you can come into at any time during your practice, to rest, to get an extra breath, just to slow down a little bit, okay? And you can do that whenever you feel you need to just rest, okay? Balasana, child's pose. Okay, so let's come up, back onto hands and knees. Now we're going to take the torso around the circle. So we drop the belly here, turn the buttocks up. We take the torso out to the side. We round up through the spine. And then we shift over to the other side, dropping the belly down, going through the middle, up again, out to the side, down and around. So try and get as much mobility happening here as you can. Loosen up. How is your spine moving? Do you have much mobility or movement through your hips, through your pelvis? Shoulders? You might even close your eyes. Just moving a little bit deeper inwards, developing a little bit more sensitivity. And let's go around in the opposite direction. So dropping the belly down, out to the side, up high, out to the other side, down and around. Okay, let's come into a neutral position. So we're going to add on now. So if you need any more padding underneath your knees, please feel free to grab a blanket now or double up on your mats if you've got a couple. So we inhale, we're going to drop the belly down, lift out of the shoulders, so we don't want to be collapsing through the shoulders. And we're going to exhale, bring the knee in towards the chin or nose or forehead, wherever you can, rounding through the back. Inhale, we open the body up, taking the toes towards the head. And make sure you're not dropping into the shoulders here. Lift up. Exhale, bring the knee in. Draw the belly back, round through the spine. Inhale, take the leg up. Exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose. Exhale. Inhale. And one more, exhale, knee in. Now we're going to shoot that right leg straight back, flex the foot so the toes are turned down. Now, if this is enough for you, stay in this position with both hands on the floor. If you can, though, you're going to shift the weight into that right hand and reach the left arm forwards. Chin is down. Listen to your breath, observe your breath. If there's any fluctuations, keep it nice and even, balanced. Keep this front shoulder back. Now you might just stay here, or you might just rest for a moment and come back into this position. Otherwise, reach back and take hold of your right foot with your left hand. And then kick that foot away from the buttocks and lift out of the right shoulder. So if this is too much for you, you can use a strap as well. If you'd like to use a strap. Okay, but if this is too much for you, you can stay with the original position. You might stay here for another breath or two and then rest. So a little bit longer with whatever option you've chosen, lifting out of that right shoulder. And let's exhale, release. Now we're going to turn that bottom foot out to the side. Place this right foot on the floor. Place the left wrist under the shoulder. Good. We're going to reach the right arm up. So make sure that that bottom foot is out to the side because this will help your balance. If it's not, you're going to struggle to balance. So we're not collapsing into that bottom shoulder, we're lifting up, so pushing down to lift up, and then we slowly begin to take that right leg up to hip height. And you can look back and see if you're cheating or not. So try and keep that right hip or right heel in line with the right hip. Reaching up, sending the energy up through the fingers. You can look sideways, down at the floor, or up at the ceiling, top thumb. Now, again, you can either stay in this position, you might rest the hand, and then you might come back into this position again. Otherwise, take hold of the right foot, and let's kick the heel away from the buttocks, stretching out through this front shoulder. If you're looking up, support your head so you're not dropping the head back. Back of the neck is long. Observing your breath. And let's exhale, release. Back to all fours. Good. Right. Good news or the bad news? It's only good. We're going to do the other side. So let's first of all inhale. Drop the belly, look forwards or up. Exhale, round through the spine. Now you can, if you like, rest in child's pose here. Otherwise, stay with me. Inhale, drop the belly, looking forwards and up. Exhale, drawing the belly back. Inhale. Now, those of you resting in child's pose, you can join in now when you're ready. On the exhale, we bring the left knee in. Inhale, take the left leg up, keeping the arms straight. Exhale, drawing the belly back, knee to forehead, nose, chin. Inhale, leg up. Exhale, drawing the knee in. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And one more exhale, bringing the knee in. And now we're going to shoot that left leg straight back from the hip, keeping the hips even. And you may even just place the hands on the floor, keep them on the floor, or shift the weight into your left hand and reach the right arm forward. So opposite leg, opposite hand. Chin down, extending out. Keep the power in that left leg. Okay, now you're either going to stay in this position, you might rest for a moment and come back into it. Otherwise, reach back, take hold of your foot, kick the foot away from the buttocks, Lift out of that left shoulder and take the chin slightly down. Okay, let's release. Now we're going to turn this bottom foot out to the side. So your right foot out to the side. I'm just going to turn around so I can face you. So right foot out to the side. Right hand underneath the shoulder. Reach the left hand up. So the top thumb is directly over the mouth. It's not forwards, it's not back. Straight up, sending the energy up. Now when you're ready, let's take the left leg up. Strong through that left leg. This will be strong for some of you. So rest the foot on the floor if you need to. Gaze is up, sideways again, or down at the floor. Now if you can, you're going to bend that top leg, reach back and take hold of the foot. So if you can't, or you're challenged to do this at the moment, then you'll alternate between resting that leg and bringing it up again. Otherwise, you've got the foot kicking it away, stretching through the top shoulder. Lifting out of that bottom shoulder. Enjoying the process. And let's release. Good. Okay, back to all fours. Or you might rest in child's pose. So let's inhale, drop the belly, lift out of the shoulders, looking forwards or slightly up. Exhale, start from your belly button, rounding through the spine, chin to the chest. Inhale again, looking forwards or slightly up. Exhale, start from the belly button, rounding, 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 pushing into the hands. And inhale, looking forwards and up. Okay, now we're going to come into, I'm going to talk you through a downward dog, which is a pose that we do a lot when we practice yoga. So you want to make sure that you get it right. Now, I'm going to be turning forwards and sideways so that you can get the best views. Now from here, we set our foundation. So whatever is in contact with the floor is our foundation. And we need it to be balanced. It's like building a house. If the house is not balanced, the foundations, then the house is certainly not going to be a stable, balanced house. So our foundation in this situation or this case is the hands or are the hands and the feet when we come into downward dog. So let's start with the hands. We spread the fingers and we have each hand underneath the shoulders. So we don't want to go too narrow and we don't want to go too wide. In saying that, if you're quite strong through the shoulders or broad, then it might help you just to turn the hands out a little bit and to maybe even take the hands out a little bit wider, but not too much. You'll find your way once you get used to the pose. So asana means posture. So when I say asana, that means posture. So we spread the fingers. Our middle finger is facing forwards. Now our shoulders, we want to keep in this position, broad and back away from the ears. Knees hip width apart. Now when we come into downward dog, a lot of people get wrist issues because they take all the weight through the wrists. And this is because they're not applying even pressure through the base of the fingers. So if I come into downward dog and I'm not pushing evenly through the base of my fingers, I don't know if you can see there, but if I lift my fingers up, or the base of them up, which a lot of people do, most people, then all the weight goes into my wrist joint, and that's not a good idea. So when we come into downward dog, we want to apply and maintain even pressure through the base of the finger, especially the knuckle of the index finger, okay? And that will lighten the load through the wrists. So let's check in with our hands. Now do that a couple of times. So lift the base of the fingers up and then push the base of the fingers back into the floor. Tuck the toes under. Actually, this is quite a nice exercise for you to do. So lift the base of the fingers up and then push the wrists or the base of the hands into the floor as you sit the buttocks back on the heels. So the base of my fingers are lifted and all the weight is going, so push down through the contact of your wrist into the floor. And you can feel that pressure. Now come up again into a neutral position. Push the base of the fingers into the floor. Don't lift the wrists up, but when you push the base of the fingers into the floor, the wrists will become quite light anyway. Now push the hands into the floor, keeping the base of the fingers connected, and place the buttocks on the heels. So the arms are strong, hands are strong. Can you feel the difference? I hope you can, because this will save your wrists. Okay, there should be no weight through the wrists and even pressure through the base of the fingers. Okay, hopefully you've got it. Right, so we have the shoulders back, we tuck the toes under. Now we're going to keep the legs bent to begin with. So if you're not sure, just have a look at me while I come into my first downward dog. So the neck is long and relaxed, the shoulders are relaxed. They're not rolled in and scrunched up, they're relaxed and open. Neck is free. And come down onto the knees. Okay, so have a go if you like. And when you're in half downward dog, so I say half downward dog because I want you to keep the legs bent at this stage. So I'll do it sideways so you can have another look, or you might be up already, that's fine. So pushing into the base of the fingers, keep the shoulders relaxed and the spine is straight. Relax the head. Push through the base of the fingers. Scrunch the shoulders up to your ears and then roll the shoulders back and relax the shoulders. And come to the knees. Okay. Now, point the toes away, place the buttocks on the heels, stretch the arms forwards as far as you can. And it doesn't matter if your heels or buttocks don't come to the heels, just sit back as much as you can and reach the hands forwards. Relax the head. Now stay in this position. This is the correct measurement for your downward dogs, for your length or for your height. And it's the correct distance between your hands and your feet when you come into a straight-legged downward dog. Okay, so on that note, with our hands stretched as far forwards as possible, let's inhale, come up. We check our foundation, push into the base of the fingers, tuck the toes under, don't move your hands or feet, and take your buttocks to the ceiling and begin to straighten the legs this time. And you may even take one heel down to the floor at a time. Just stretching out the hamstrings, relax the head, rest if you need to, and then join in when you're ready. You might even get a couple of mindful Ujjayi breaths in while you're here. There's a lot to think about. Okay, and let's come down to the knees. All right, so let me turn this way again, and we'll do it again. So we inhale, we'll do a couple. Inhale, look forwards, keeping the shoulders broad. Tuck the toes under, take the buttocks to the ceiling, keeping the shoulders broad, pushing through the base of the fingers, and walk the legs out on the spot. And come to the knees. Good. So let's do it again. Inhale, looking forwards and up. Tucking the toes under, buttocks to the ceiling. Taking the heels to the floor, walking out, loosening up a little bit. Relax the head. And come to the knees. Okay. Just rest your wrists for a moment. So you can just sit on your heels or sit on a block or blanket if it's more comfortable for you. Okay, just for a moment. So I just wanted to, before we move on from our downward dogs, and we will do a few more, well, a lot more actually, especially over the next 6 weeks, but people with short hamstrings, which there's a lot of people with short hamstrings when we start practicing yoga. That's often why we start practicing. So what happens when we've got short hamstrings, especially in downward dog, is the hamstrings, when they shorten, when they begin to shorten, we begin to get this pulling or the tilt back through the pelvis because the hamstrings are pulling us down, and then we start to tighten up through the hip flexors because we sit a lot as well usually, and we start to get this rounding through the spine. So we're collapsing through our posture. So it's quite difficult for us to sit up straight and get that opening through the hip flexors and length through the hamstrings so that our pelvis can actually be in a comfortable neutral position. So when we bring that into our downward dogs, this is often what happens. So imagine I've got short hamstrings, and when I come into my downward dogs, I can't push myself back because my hamstrings are too short and my spine is rounded. Okay? So my hamstrings are limiting my lengthening through the spine and obviously the legs. So if this is your situation, what you can do is, until you start to get more length and flexibility through the hamstrings, you can keep your legs bent and focus more on opening the shoulders and maintaining the straightness through the spine, the alignment, the length. Okay, so it's more important for you to have a nice straight spine rather than bending, hunching through the back and putting too much weight through the hands and shoulders. Okay, you can see the difference. Okay, right, so let's move on. So that was downward dog, and we will revisit every week and throughout each practice. So don't worry if you haven't quite got it yet. I don't expect you to, and don't expect yourself to either. Now, from this position, we're going to bring the shoulders over the wrists. And now from here, we're going to stretch out the right leg. Okay, we keep the shoulders over the wrist. We keep broadening through the shoulders. We're going to draw the belly in here. So we're engaging our core and supporting our lumbar. And we're going to take the other knee off the floor and we squeeze the buttocks and legs. Okay, I'm not collapsing through the shoulder blades. I'm broadening through the shoulder blades. And I'm not collapsing into the hips. I'm bringing the hips up. Rest on the knees. Do it a few times. Rest when you need to, or you might hold it for the whole time I'm talking. So depending how strong you want to work in today's class. So you might start with one leg up, prepare yourself, draw the belly in, engage your core, strong legs, buttocks, broaden through the shoulder blades, push into the hands, hold it. Rest whenever you need to. And down. Good. So let's do one more. Really good for core strength. So what we're doing is I'm taking you through a sequence of specific asanas, so postures, and then we're going to join them all together in a sun salutation. We may have time to do that today. We'll see how we go. Okay. So again, last time. So we draw the belly in. Now remember, we're not dropping through the shoulder blades, we're broadening through the shoulder blades. We've got that foundation. We tuck the toes under, you might take one or both knees off the floor. Squeezing the buttocks again, lengthening through the spine. Hold it here, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, good job. Right, back onto all fours. Middle finger facing forwards. Now the next one we're going to do is called Chaturanga, and we'll do a half Chaturanga, which means we keep the knees on the floor. If you're joining this video or you've come across this video and you're actually a little bit more experienced, then do it a little bit, make it a little bit stronger. Take the knees off the floor. But if you are new, then stick with me, knees to the floor at this stage. Now the first option, when we begin to lower ourselves to the floor, I'll go from the easiest option to the hardest. So the easiest option at this stage is to just gently shift the weight forwards, to bring the hips forwards, to bend the arms and come down onto the floor. Okay, that's the easiest way to come to the floor. Shifting the weight forwards, I'll show you again, bringing the hips forwards and coming down to the floor. The second option, a little bit stronger. We shift the weight over the hip, shift the shoulders over the wrists. We turn the inside elbows forwards. We keep the elbows close to the body and we slowly lower to the floor and rest. Coming up. So it's a half push-up. Make sure your elbows are in. So shoulders over the wrists, turn the inside elbows forwards. So you want your arms to skim the sides of your waist as you come down. And up. So try all three options if you can. Okay, and the third option, well, the third option is for those of you who are naturally quite a bit stronger, and that will be straight legs. Straight-legged Chaturanga. So shoulders over the wrists, and without dropping the hips or the knees, elbows close to the body, we lower down and rest on the floor. Okay, but that probably won't apply to anyone watching this video. But that's what you've got to look forward to. Okay, now once we're on the floor, so we go through our half push-up position, elbows in, elbows in, elbows in, we come down to the floor. Okay, now you may want to place a blanket underneath your hips or pubic bone if it's a little bit uncomfortable or if you're on a hard floor. So we place the hands under the shoulders. So we're coming into cobra here. Now we start from our tail. So we push the groin into the floor, getting the length out of the lumbar. Our legs and buttocks are strong. So there's a lot of work going through this part of our body, these limbs, the limbs. Okay, so we start from the tail. We push the groin into the floor. We squeeze the buttocks. We work the legs. We rest the forehead on the floor and we roll the shoulders back. Hands are under the shoulders. Now, without putting too much weight into the hands, we slowly begin to engage our back muscles and lift the body up. Now, this may look anywhere like this, just coming off the floor a fraction or two, if this is enough for you, or a little bit higher, or a little bit higher. Okay, so you're quite open here through the back, and then your drishti is gently up, but you're not collapsing through the back of the neck. And then we come down. Okay. Now, if just coming up this far is quite strong for you, then your other option is to come onto the forearms. And this is quite a nice option. So on the forearms, lifting out of the shoulders, pushing the chest. So you're pulling the arms back and pushing the chest forwards. Cobra, opening up through the chest. Gaze is gently up. So we call our gaze drishti. D-R-I-S-T-I. So drishti means where our focal point is. So if you hear me say drishti, you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, long neck, lifting out of the shoulders, and then we come down. So choose what option works best for you. If you think forearms is going to be a good option for you, then stay with forearms. If you are happy with hands under the shoulders, coming up this much, lengthening out through the crown of the head, then stay with this option. Okay, so let's do it 2 times. So choosing your option. Start with your tailbone, push the groin into the floor, squeeze the buttocks, legs, roll the shoulders back and slowly come up. Feel your way into the stretch. Drishti is gently up. And then coming down, exhale. One more. Roll the shoulders back. Push the groin into the floor. Strong legs. Lifting up. Drishti up. Strong legs. And exhale. Come down. Now bring the hands back a little bit further. Tuck your toes under. Gently bring yourself back up onto all fours. And you can rest in child's pose if you like. So remember child's pose, buttocks on the heels, One hand on top of the other, forehead on the hand. Take a couple of breaths here, breathing into your back, lumbar, just relaxing, softening in. Okay, now feel free to stay there for as long as you like. Those of you who are ready to move on, back to all fours. So we're going to come into downward dog, and then we're going to step the right foot forwards. So we check our downward dog measurements, buttocks on the heels, stretch the hands forwards as far as they go. Inhale, coming up. I'll just move back so that you can see me a little bit clearer. Check your foundation, pushing into the base of the fingers, tuck the toes under, roll the shoulders back, and let's push back, buttocks to the ceiling, downward dog. Taking one heel down to the floor at a time. Relax the head. Keep the connection through the base of the fingers. Okay, now if you can, step your right foot forwards in between the hands. Now, if this is challenging for you, come to the left knee first, and if you manually need to bring the right foot forwards, then do. Now, we want to make sure the ankle is under the knee. So when we've set ourselves up, we reach the arms up. Now, you can either keep this left knee on the floor, or you can tuck the toes under and take the back knee off the floor. So 2 options with the back leg. Now, lift out of the lumbar. So we don't want to be collapsing through the lumbar. We want to be lifting out of the lumbar. And you might even keep your hands on your hips if you feel more comfortable. Otherwise, arms are up. Back knee is off the floor or on the floor. Now, if you are working with shoulder issues, you can always have your hands in this position or arms in this position. Cactus arms, they call them. So pinning the shoulder blades into the back. Good. So this position, or hands on the hips. Okay, let's step back into downward dog, or if you'd like to rest out of downward dog, stay on the hands and knees. And let's bring the left foot forwards. Ankle under the knee. Inhale, reach the arms up, or cactus arms, or hands on the hips. If you had your back knee off the floor on the other side, take the back knee off the floor on this side and put some power into that leg. Make sure that it's not wobbling all over the place and it's strong, stable. And now let's step back into downward dog or come back onto hands and knees. If you're in downward dog, that's fine. Just walk the legs out. If you're in hands and knees, you might do cat and cow. Okay, and now let's all meet in the middle of our mats, hanging forwards in Uttanasana. So we hold on to the elbows, relax the head, and then just gently, if this is comfortable, just gently begin to swing from side to side. Now, if anyone has any back issues, then you can always rest the forearms on the thighs, bent legs. Let's spend a few breaths here, connecting to our Ujjayi breath, breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. If it's not comfortable to swing from side to side, then don't, that's fine. Slowing the breath down. And then come back into a neutral position. We're going to release the hands down to the floor. We're going to slowly roll the body up. So we push down through the feet, slowly rolling the body up. Reaching the arms up and exhale, coming back to our center. So when we start, we always start from our center, feet together, lift the toes up, broaden through the soles of the feet. Okay, so we need to be mindful in order to start from our center, feet together, palms in Namaste. So now, we're going to, lots of talking, dry throat. Now we're going to move through one sun salutation to finish off our practice for today. So we're going to join all the little bits that we've learnt in today's practice together. Okay, and we'll move nice and slowly. Just try and connect to the breath as best you can. Rest when you need to. Okay, so we start with the palms together. Let's breathe in through the nose, push down through the feet. Let's reach the arms up as high as you can. Exhale through the nose, part the palms and fold forwards. Relax, straight or bent legs. Now let's inhale, lift up to halfway. So we didn't go over this one, but it's easy. So we place the hands lightly on the knees. We stick the buttocks and chest out, our shoulders are back, chin is down. And then on the exhale, let's fold forwards, bend the legs, and step back into our downward dogs. Adho Mukha Svanasana in Sanskrit. So spread through the fingers. If you need to come into your downward dog measurement, you can. Knees, buttocks on the heels, stretch the hands forwards. Inhale, come up, check your foundation, push into the base of the fingers, buttocks to the ceiling. Inhale, let's shift our weight forwards into plank position. So we squeeze the buttocks, we lift out of the shoulder blades. If it's too strong, stay on your knees. Now we choose our Chaturanga position. So our push-up position, either bringing the hips forwards gently, coming to the floor, or a little bit stronger, elbows in, leaning into the shoulders, coming to the floor. Place the hands under the shoulders, roll the shoulders back, push the groin into the floor, slowly coming up. Cobra, forearms on the floor. If it's too strong, pull the chest through the arms. Gaze, your drishti is gently up or forwards. Squeeze the buttocks and legs. Exhale, let's come down. Bring the hands back, pushing yourself back. Now you can either stay on the hands and knees here, or you can come back into downward dog. And we're going to step the right foot forwards. So either step it forwards with the left knee off, or have the left knee on the floor. Ankle under the knee. Inhale, reach the arms up, or cactus arms, or hands on the hips. Exhale. Stay on hands and knees if you're more comfortable, otherwise downward dog. Plank position, shoulders over the wrists, so straight legs or knees to the floor. Exhale, choose your option, either bringing the hips forwards or more of a push-up position. Toes pointing away, push the groin into the floor, roll the shoulders back, lifting out of the chest. Gaze is up. Shoulders down and elbows in. Exhale, coming down, tuck the toes under, stay on the hands and knees or downward dog. Okay, let's step the left foot forwards. Back knee on or off the floor. Inhale, reach up. And exhale. This time we're going to step the back foot to the front. So both feet together, front of the mat. Relax, bent legs. Inhale, let's lift up to halfway, hands lightly on the knees, spine straight, shoulders back. Exhale, fold forwards. Bend the legs, push down, let's reach up, big breath. Embrace it, and exhale, coming back to your center. Well done. Your first sun salutation. So the reason why we salute the sun is because it's a worshipping, obviously. If it wasn't for the sun, we wouldn't be here. but it's also a great way to warm the body up. Get it ready for moving into some deeper stretches down the line. Okay, now we're going to finish off in Shavasana Relaxation. So just make your way down to the floor. Now, depending on how your back is feeling, and if you've got a clear space or wall space in your living room or house, then you can actually go to the wall, place your buttocks against the wall. So imagine the wall is here. Place the buttocks against the wall, lie down and take the legs up the wall. So this option is really nice for anyone with fluid retention, restless legs, and any sensitivity through the back. Okay, another option is to take a bolster if you have one, or blanket. Just going to do it that way, long ways. And you can roll it up and place it underneath your thighs. Letting the feet drop out to the side, palms turned up. You can also place a block on your belly if you want to focus on more on belly breathing, or hands on your belly. Relax the head. Okay, or if you don't need a blanket or anything, just lie yourself back. Make sure that you're comfortable and warm. And we're going to finish off our practice in Shavasana, which is relaxation, for about 5 minutes, or you can stay for as long as you like. And this is a great opportunity to keep focusing on your breathing, to get a deeper sense of relaxation. And I'm just going to sit in a comfortable position and just talk you through it for a few more moments. So as you lie here for the last few moments of your practice, like I said, I'd just like you to really focus on your breathing, your ujjayi breath, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. And if you've got your hands on your belly, just connect to the space expansion on the inhale as your belly pushes your hands away. And then on the exhalation, just connecting to that depth, softening, relaxation. Relaxing your eye muscles, jaw muscles, neck and shoulders. And then we become aware of the stillness, not moving, not having to move, and feeling comfortable in the stillness. Feeling quite relaxed in the stillness, the quiet, time to recharge, time to consciously stop. To reconnect. So yoga is about so many things, and reconnection is another great benefit yoga teaches us. Reconnecting to our bodies, minds, breath. Reconnecting to what's real, important. Taking the time to look after ourselves. yourself being distracted by your thoughts, taken away by storylines, then come back to your breathing again and use your breath as your anchor. That's why it's really important to keep hearing and listening to the sound of your breath. And this is a great tool to keep us in the moment, here and now, and be comfortable, content in this moment. Don't look for anything. Just be quite happy exactly where you are. Breathe. Feel ready, you can just slowly begin. You might start to move through fingers, toes. You might even take your hands above your head, interlace the fingers, have a big stretch. Pushing into the heels, flexing the feet, pointing the toes, draw the belly back, have a big yawn if you feel like yawning. And then bring the knees into the chest. And gently roll to the side, left or right. Rest on the side for a moment. And then make your way up into a comfortable seated position, back to the space where we started our practice. Sitting up nice and comfortably, having the opposite foot in front now. Right hand and left palm, thumbs lightly touching, or backs of the hands on the thighs, index finger, thumb touching. Shoulders over the hips again, lifting up through the crown of the head, chin level. Just closing your eyes, making the most of the last few moments of your practice. Bringing the palms together in front of your Anahata chakra. Namaste, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome to week 1 of your beginners, Julie Stevens Yoga. And if you've got any questions at any time, feel free to drop me a line via my email or website, and that'd be great. We'll see you next week for week 2. Thank you. Have a great day or night.